Welcome to the RPG Talk Show. My name is Daniel Ivy, and this is
John Wilker, Vice President of RPG Research, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's dedicated to the research and development of role-playing games in all formats and genres for all players.
Yes. We utilize this research to achieve our recreational, leisure, educational, and therapeutic goals.
Today's main topic is tactile, smell, taste, and other senses.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, we understand that this is a catch-all for the various senses, but our primary ones were visual, which we already went through, and auditory. This is a catch-all for the rest of the senses.
Yeah. Except for the sixth sense, bring your own tarot cards.
Yeah.
Anyways, we will also, in our third segment, will be unboxing Dungeon Crate. And I do believe we're now broadcasting that on a separate day.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Okay. Yeah. After we do the state of the game, we're going to be switching into the new format.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't want to just ambush people with the new format.
I don't know. Ambush tactics are the best tactics.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to make a gorilla logo for us. For guerrilla tactics.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But you just have them wear a beret with a die 20 on it?
I already have enough on my plate. I don't need to be designing that. And yes, I already have it in my head.
Oh, yeah. I had an idea for you that was mixing a prominent political figure with a prominent mythical monster. I'll tell you later.
Yeah. So we, outside of this massive derail, you wanted to talk about what is it? Ethics.
Ethics and morality.
Yes.
So first of all, before we start talking about it and then getting into the reason we're talking about it, let's define it.
Yes.
Ethics are external rules or codes of conduct provided by a group or institution where morals and individual are internal principles regarding right and wrong.
Yeah.
So your morals comes from your upbringing, maybe a little bit of your genetic background, because there are people who have genetic wiring that lean towards lawful good, and others who literally lean towards chaotic.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too much into that because that is an entire rabbit hole.
Yes, we're trying. But so there are those things that adjust those. Main thing we're going to be looking at today is ethics.
Why? Why are we looking at ethics today?
Well, because I came across an article in Geek Native, and it's called "The Human Cost of High Fantasy." Paul Hughes on MCDM's ethical mandate. MCDM Productions, and there's really no actual official response to what MCDM is. We're going with Matthew Collins, Dungeon Master.
Matthew
Colville.
Yeah, Matthew Colville.
Yes, thank you. Well, they have solidified its long-term roadmap for Draw Still, which was the MCDM RPG as a placeholder. Now it's called Draw Still, by appointing Paul Hughes, the analytic force behind the blog of Holding, as the project's dedicated line developer. Now, you may have heard of him because he's the guy, mathematical genius, that took all of the math from the monster manual and put it on a business card.
Okay.
He reduced all of the math to one card.
I am familiar with him when I was doing my research on trying to convert monsters over to 5th edition. Yeah, I'm familiar with the blog of Holding. Yeah.
So he's doing this, and one of the things he mentioned was ethics.
Yeah.
Specifically, he said, quote, MCD and is an exemplar of ethical conduct in the hobby space, which is tremendously important to me. And everyone who works there, myself included, are geniuses. The more I work with each of them, the more awed I am. I am lucky to land here and excited to invent a lot of crazy new stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do they mean by ethics?
Yes.
Well, they say is effectively building a defense against a defensive front against the industry's automated trends.
Okay. I was thinking it would go that way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Studios committed to human-centric art and above-market freelancer rates appear to be the ethical bedrock.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had a lot of ethical debates about way certain companies conduct their business.
Yes.
We've had arguments about whether or not AI is permissible and how much of it's permissible.
Yeah.
I personally use AI, but only as a research tool.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had it write a report for me, or I've never used it to draw a picture before, even for my own personal use.
Yeah.
I don't try to make products out of AI. I do use AI for research. I think it's just Google on steroids.
Okay.
But let's talk about what the industry kind of looks at and what kind of topics they are.
Okay.
And,
so we're specifically, I'm trying to boil this down here.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to figure out what the ethics, when we're talking about ethics, it being external, which means we have to codify it in some way or form.
Code of conduct.
Yeah. For the industry that is producing tabletop role-playing games.
Yes.
Yes. I feel that when it comes to that, there's two things that we have to specifically look at. One, how it engages with its customers, and how it engages with its content producers.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially freelance content producers.
Yeah.
Also, we have to realize that right now, that ethical standards are typically defined by a mix of professional codes and technologically focused policies, like AI and community-driven social contracts.
Yeah.
What there isn't is a universal code of conduct for the industry.
Right.
Everybody creates their own. Some are more and some are less likely to take what we consider moral stances. But an ethics, morals and ethics can be contradictory to each other.
Yes.
So most established TRPGs follow general business ethics and emphasize transparency, fair labor, and intellectual property integrity. Modern standards increasingly focus on fair wages and avoiding crunch. It's excessive overtime, especially in high production studios.
Yeah.
So pay them correctly, don't burn them out, and give them the credit that they're due.
Yeah. I'm actually reminded of another company that, for good or ill, it has a reputation in the gaming industry of well, not I won't say that's bucking the trend of crunch time, but its philosophy has generally been less crunch, and that's Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah.
And to make specification, crunch in industry standards is the overtime to finish a project.
Yes.
Crunch in RPG standards is math versus story.
Yeah. In this case, we're talking about putting everyone on overtime to rush to, basically overworking them to get something produced by a specific deadline.
Right. Which has historically, I can't say it's all the time, but there's a significant number of products that are the result of crunch that come out literally just unfinished.
Yes.
Certain companies are just famous, I'm looking at you, Microsoft, of putting out beta products and calling it a product.
Yeah. And I feel that, and this is one of the issues that I've had, where when you have a relationship between the people who hold the purse strings and the people who are producing content, that if the people holding the purse strings don't understand what is reasonable for a producer, someone who produces content, is capable of doing, then they may have unrealistic standards and expectations. This is one of the reasons why you've heard me harp so much about being an artist.
Yeah.
And
artificial deadlines that are impossible.
Not only that, but people understanding what it means to be an artist, where it isn't nearly as creative as people think it is at times. It's a lot more technical. I actually saw
Well, there is a big difference between your standard artist, your technical artist, or technical drawings, and people who are just doing things for production purposes, where they're slapping out the same thing over and over again.
I'm actually not even getting into that.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I'm going to draw a portrait,
right?
Okay, there are so many systems that I need to understand for that portrait to come out acceptable.
Right.
Where that isn't even getting into my creativity. I need to understand biologically and anatomically how the body's set up and how a specific individual's body may divert from those baselines. There are certain standards that we have for, for example, measuring to make sure that, the proportions look correct. It's one of the things where even if you've got a high abstraction cartoon, if there is an underlying standard in the anatomy, it looks off.
One company that does the understanding of the anatomy, despite it's completely breaking all the rules of anatomy, is Digital Circus.
Yeah. Digital Circus, I love their stuff. They understand the rules enough to break them, as opposed to disregarding the rules and not understanding why they're important.
Right.
Yeah, that's the importance of, even when you're doing abstraction like in cartoons, understanding the rules beforehand. If you've got someone who doesn't understand that there is this much pressure and this much technical understanding, even in the highly creative areas, to them it's just magic.
Yeah. Any technology is sufficiently advanced.
Right.
People don't understand, and I'm just going to geek out just for a hair second.
Yeah.
Lighting.
Right.
Color coding and color theory.
Yep.
Physics.
Oh yeah.
You want something to bounce. It doesn't just hit the ground and bounce up. It hits, compresses, then bounces.
Yeah. And not only that, but I'll use this bottle as an example here. Okay. If I'm animating this,
right.
Okay, I've seen so many animations where, okay, it's moving. You're expecting it to move a certain way, but there's no weight.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas if I go and whereas there's that anticipation, that is more understanding of more systems, and this isn't even getting into creativity.
Yeah. Like somebody was talking about not Superman, but Henry Cavill's fighting style.
Yeah.
And the fact that everything looks like it has weight behind it. Unlike a lot of martial arts things you see where it's and then the guy explodes.
Right.
So, anyways.
Yeah, but this is getting into people who hold the purse strings, understanding and having a relationship with their producers to understand when they're asking too much.
Right. And what they can actually accomplish in the time frames. I've seen plenty of test art where people take the same picture. This is 5 minutes.
Yes.
This is 20 hours. And you see all the little difference as you go on the stages.
Yeah.
So, along with the professional and business standards, we have IP integrity. This is the copyrights of the artist and written as a core ethical pillar. Includes accurate crediting and honoring licensing agreements.
Yes.
This isn't Disney anymore, where Walt Disney gets the credit and the money, and you got a work for hire paycheck.
Yeah, and getting into comic books, one of the major things that started this change in philosophy is what happened in Marvel, where you had a whole bunch of artists who got really irritated with the standard that Marvel had, where, for example, Stan Lee got a lot of the credit, and it wasn't until certain artists started really pushing back and saying, no, Jack Kirby's responsible for quite a lot of things. Bill Finger is
as important to Batman
as Bob Kane is.
Right.
So you had a whole bunch of artists leave Marvel and DC and create their own company, Image, which was built on the creator-owned properties, and it has kind of fluctuated because I can talk about how Todd McFarlane, who was a leader in Image, had lawsuits against him because he didn't want to credit who was it? The creator of Angela.
I couldn't tell you that one.
Well, I know you know who it is.
Oh no, I'll recognize the name, but I couldn't.
He wrote Sandman.
Neil Gaiman.
Yes, Neil Gaiman created Angela. There were lawsuits against Todd McFarlane because Todd McFarlane wouldn't credit Neil Gaiman for his work in Angela, and Image is supposed to be based off of creator, owned properties. Yeah.
So, who gets the credit? Who gets the rights to the product? Bill Finger had no rights to Batman.
No.
He never did get rights for Batman.
And I feel like there's a difference between, rights, because if you commission me to do artwork, okay, when I'm done creating it, it's yours. All the rights are yours. I should still be credited.
Yes, of course. So transparency. Companies expect to be clear about pricing, game features, and data privacy practice, and build trust with their player base.
Yes.
Look at D&D Beyond. One of the biggest fears to anybody with tech savvy, I'm not talking programmers, I'm talking just have a little bit of tech savvy, realizes that you don't actually own anything on that platform.
Nope.
You have a contract that is for as long as they host that platform is yours. Which means if you get a backup of a real book, they can't take that away from you.
Yeah.
But there are products in there that, without a lot of excess computer know-how, you cannot save those if the platform goes down.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I've been seeing more and more frequently is a push for having physical media, because in the streaming services, for example, with Disney and their Disney Vault, you can only watch what they allow you to watch.
Right.
Which means if I, for example, want to watch Pinocchio, and they say, well, we don't want anyone to watch Pinocchio right now, unless I have a DVD or a CD or something physical media of Pinocchio, I can't watch Pinocchio.
Oh, that's and don't even try to watch Song of the South.
Which is why I mentioned Pinocchio and not Song of the South.
Yeah,
they're never releasing Song of the South from the vault.
I think they might in the future, but
not anytime soon.
No, not anytime soon, because right now it is extremely hostile to remember that the past happened.
Yes.
Anyways, also in the transparency and building trust is the system reference documents and the, what is that, open source versus the, what was they did? The OGL, Open Gaming License.
Yeah. There's a lot of lessons that can be learned from just Dungeons and Dragons and their relationship with their consumer base.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people don't realize, like, oh, you got a Ren Festival in town? They're distracting from our money. No, every dollar spent at the Ren Festival is $7 spent in the community.
Yes.
So you got to realize that. Next, emerging technology and AI. Believe it or not, there was a time where I imagined AI being used to create animation by taking every piece of artwork of this one artist and with their permission and taking every verbal thing ever said by the actors in the television show. And in my case, I was always thinking about Xena, Warrior Princess.
Yeah.
And if I took every word that was already spoken, every frame of every picture, including the background stuff, and changed that into animation, after I got the rights and I pay the artists who, hey, it's your voice, it's your acting.
Yeah.
I'm paying you for the rights to use that. Creating animated shows super fast.
Yeah. Yeah. This
was before people were stealing everything to get these to happen and using people's likeness without their permission.
Yeah, there are problems with for example, you mentioned using people's likenesses, using people's intellectual property without their consent. Geez, that's an entire can of worms.
Well, one of the things was that when I was thinking of this as an idea, with exactly no way to make it happen, but I thought the idea was that I would take all this stuff, create a few episodes, and say the first 2 episodes or first 3 episodes are free from me, and I give it to the owners of the IP.
Yeah.
Or I charge them, but it's the only people I'm selling it to is the owners of the IP.
Yeah.
And of course, I would have to argue that the actors get paid.
And this is one of the issues that I've, especially with the AI coming out. One of the things that I've seen people, tackling with, and I feel like there's been a, mentality with certain people in tech because they're so used to things being done quickly and efficiently that certain steps in the creation process can be, glossed over.
Yeah, it's like it has become so ubiquitous that nearly every artist, first question they get asked by somebody who finds out that they're an artist, what tablet are you using?
Yeah, it's kind of like, what pencil am I using? Pencil usually, yeah, the quality of the tools matter, but the quality of the artist is more important.
Well, and what I was meaning by that is not whether or not you have a better tablet than somebody else, or you're making smarter decisions about what pencils and how you sharpen them, because that makes a difference. I know how to sharpen a pencil to a laser point.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that the first thing that people think of nowadays is what computer are you using to make your art.
Yeah, and this is something that I've seen even in the sphere of um tutorials.
Yeah.
Where someone is learning to do art, and because they are inexperienced with how much is actually up here that is required, they blame their lack of quality on the tools as opposed to their expertise.
Right.
Yeah.
And because a person who starts off on computer-aided drafting doesn't understand the math or concepts behind it,
Right.
can't recognize when something was done wrong.
Yeah. This is something that I've spoken before, where I feel, especially with the emergence of AI, it is going to usher in a dark age where there's going to be a gap between people who know how things are done and people are going to see something looks wrong about this, but because they didn't study on how all the underlying concepts behind it,
right,
they know something is wrong, they can't tell you what. If the anatomy is wrong, I know, for example, if I wanted a six-fingered hand, I know that it isn't just like, oh, put another finger here. I have to put we've got the bones here. We've got a bone in here, so I'm going to add it here, and then three phalanges. And there's a dynamic between the thumb and the rest of the fingers and how it functions. Am I putting a thumb here and being able to do this on both sides, or is it a finger? There's those underlying concepts, but if you just glossed over and just went straight to actual six fingers and it not being a deformity, because there is that too.
I would still start, and I know this is a tangent, I would still start with actual drawings and pictures of polydactyl people.
Yeah.
And then work from there.
Yeah. I've actually seen a guy on one of the social medias where he is taking the time, and this is something that I did when I was in school as well. He would take fantasy ideas, for example, dragon wings, and then try to draw and understand the anatomy underneath it. Yeah. Because a dragon, your standard dragon, which has 6 limbs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you count the tail as an extra limb.
Yeah. 6 limbs, which means it's not even a reptile because reptiles have 4.
Well, reptiles have a bigger thing there because some reptiles have none.
Right.
We call that a snake. It's still a reptile.
Yes, but when it comes to the snakes, you can take a look at a snake. You can dissect a snake and see where the girdles for those 4 limbs were. Just like with a whale, you can look at the anatomy and see where the pelvic girdle and the shoulder girdle are for its limbs.
You really want to confuse people. Go into the anatomy of a centaur.
Oh, yeah. How many rib cages?
2.
2 rib cages, yes.
And the 4 shoulders of the horse is the pelvic girdle of the humanoid on the top.
Yeah. Centaurs are a monstrosity.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yes, getting back to the epic.
So there's the no harm principle. Some companies like Evil Genius Games have formal codes stating they will not adopt technologies that replace human creators or make gameplay more laborious.
Okay.
I think also in the other ways, not to make it so simple that after 5 years of age, you're no longer mentally challenged by anything.
Right.
Informed consent. Which was the difference between my idea for AI-driven animation, was that I have to have the permission of everybody to do these.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not stealing their artwork, their style, their stories, etc.
Yeah.
And the players must be, not only do the people that whose art I'm using
Mm-hmm.
or abusing, the players, the people who are buying the products, must be fully aware that they're interacting with AI-driven systems.
Yes.
Me and my wife have both gotten to the point that if it looks good, it must be fake.
Unfortunately.
And it's horrible to do that because I remember photorealistic artists
Mm-hmm.
before the invention of the computer.
Oh yeah, they're like I know that I can be quite talented in art. Photorealistic art. Oh dear God, that is a level of skill that is impressive.
And patience
Yes.
and understanding of all the outside dynamics
Mm-hmm.
that affect that subject.
Yeah.
Including the translucency of the skin.
Yes, yes. There's a concept that I kind of understand it, but skin has something called subsurface scattering
Yes.
of light. Oh, jeez.
I still don't understand where to put the green.
Ooh, yeah. I had a teacher who was trying to teach me how to paint paint skin, but go layer and layer up.
Yeah.
And it started off like with some bizarre colors, and I could never see it.
Yeah. I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at the painting of you, I can see where they put the colors. But if I'm looking at you, I can't see that before I had somebody who knows what they're doing do it. I was like, why don't I understand this?
Yeah. Like I should be able to figure out, for example, where the blushes are, where I put an undertone of red and then build up. But I'm not there. I fully admit I'm not there.
Yeah. So if I see somebody who's getting it right nowadays, that's got to be AI.
Yeah. So I want to, if we're talking about ethics as a gaming company, I want to present it for you what I feel should be included.
Okay.
Okay. One, we mentioned, no technology that's going to replace the, producers.
Yeah.
Okay. Proper crediting of everyone who's involved.
Yep.
As well as, fair compensation. When it comes to the people who are engaging with it, I believe we kind of rehashed over and over again that game systems can't be copyrighted.
Well, the mathematics behind the game system cannot be copyrighted.
Right.
Die 20 plus number equals compared to difficulty equals success or failure.
Yeah. Having an open system, open gaming system that allows other people to add on. I believe this is important for the relationship between the community and the company.
Right.
And it isn't just like, with Dungeons and Dragons, how there was a boom in 3rd edition and 5th edition because the community is like, we get to play with this and create more rules with it. I'm also remembering with Wizard of the Coast, not Wizard of the Coast, Blizzard. Blizzard Entertainment used to have a policy when it came to fan art, where they pretty much like, go ahead, make as much fan art of our characters as you want because it's free publicity.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel having that type of relationship with the community, where as long as you're not making money off of your fan art, they're not going after you. Which is different from, for example, when Anne Rice was alive.
Right.
It is well known in the fan fiction community, she went after people with a vengeance.
Right. And they weren't making money.
They weren't making money. But she was absolutely toxic to her community.
Well, this is not a forgiving or anything else like that, but she felt they were diluting her product.
Uh-huh.
she didn't like the dilution or the changes that people made in relationships. Um, even though most of the characters had pretty open relationships.
Yeah.
The other thing when we're talking about that, it all fits under the concept of social responsibility in contact.
Yeah.
Inclusive design. Do you, as a company, have a need to include diverse ethnicities, genders, sexualities, and not to promote harmful ideologies or systematic bias? So let's look at a Norse game set in the 1600s.
Okay.
And you're going to have genders and sexualities that are different.
Yes.
Those happen throughout the ages, and some people recognize them better than others. But how diverse will your ethnicities going to be?
Yeah.
How diverse are your ethnicities going to be in 1300s Japan?
Yeah. So that is, I feel I'm not too certain about 1300 Japan, but I know that the 1600 Vikings are going to be more diverse than people realize, because the Vikings got around to a lot of different places.
Right.
Yeah, and did bring some people back.
They had people as far as Russia.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they went down to Africa at all.
There are evidence of black Vikings.
Well, yeah. My guess was going to be, I don't know how far the Vikings went down into Africa.
Yeah.
But I do know the Moors went all the way up into Britain.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And France.
Yeah. So there is we've made the joke of during the westerns you could have a Victorian and a samurai as well. Yeah, there was a lot of blending of cultures where they easily could have encountered each other.
Yeah, I find that amazing that we had not only this mix of cultures, the Caribbean pirates, the cowboy, the Victorian dandy, the Japanese samurai, and they're all at different points in technology.
Yes. But when it comes to, you mentioned 1300 Japan, I know that Japan had a history of extreme isolationism. I don't know how extreme it was at that time.
It was actually after they I can't remember his name, but he basically forced them to open their ports.
Yeah.
So their isolationism was coming
to an end.
If not already ended by that time.
But it's those type of things that would make me determine how diverse is it going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, that, of course, is only a concept if you're doing historical.
Yeah, historical accuracy.
If you are doing a fantasy or a Viking-like world, race and color becomes even more irrelevant.
Yeah, at that point you're.
And by race, I should say species.
Yeah. And at that point, I'm thinking you definitely have to take a look at the audience that you're pitching this towards, and taking into account their standards.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's part marketing.
Yeah.
And part empathy. I have been asked by my wife to write a scientific paper on the different species in role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons. Who's the origin species? Are gnomes related to elves? That kind of stuff.
Do you need some help with that?
Oh yeah, when I finally get around it. The other paper that I have thought about writing is a ethics code of conduct for the industry as a whole. And You can adopt it or not adopt it, but I think it might be putting that out.
Yeah.
Because, we're also talking about safe places. Now, when we talk about safe spaces, that is providing codes of conduct for organized play.
Yeah.
And utilizing safety tools and content warnings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can have a very mature sex and violence and horror campaign, and you can sell that.
Yeah.
But you should label it on the front that this is what you're going to be getting.
Right.
Can you imagine people buying laminations of the Flame Princess products without knowing the mature content?
Yeah, I can. I can. But then again, I also grew up on the wild west of the internet when it was just getting started, and the things I got into, I should not have been able to get into.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, community and paid game mastering.
Mm-hmm.
Fair value for professional experience.
Yeah.
Boundary setting, clearly defining the relationship between the paid GM and players to avoid exploitative dynamics.
I would also include in there having professional, having a list of professional standards for what it means to be a game master.
Right.
Yeah, actually
we're doing that right now.
I know that.
As RPG research, we're already doing that.
Yes.
We have already written our code of conduct for GMs and players.
Yeah.
But I think our next step, as far as writing those kind of content, would be to write a code of ethics and maybe a little couple notes about morality.
Yeah.
For the industry as a whole. And whether or not other companies adapt part of it,
yeah,
or all of it, or completely ignore it is kind of up to them.
Yeah.
But if people decide that they want these core values and code of ethics lived up to, then they will put pressure on the companies to meet those.
Yeah. I know that we're going to be ending soon. One other thing that I wanted to add in there, especially for, if we're talking about ethics of a company, for a role-playing company, and honestly, I feel it's, at this point, any company. I feel like designing products that have in it planned obsolescence already built in, that's toxic to your consumer.
It is. And unfortunately, the first person who figured out how to do planned obsolescence created the incandescent light bulb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, when you're looking at this, if we're going to be writing this thing, we do also have to realize that the people writing and the artists aren't communists or socialists. They're actually trying to make a living.
Yes.
And how much the actual producers make versus the shareholders versus secondary markets.
Yeah. I feel like, especially, and this is just a meta commentary of the world we live in right now, I feel that we need to come to terms with the changing dynamic of that relationship.
Right.
Yeah. Because if you can't, if you're producing something that people are using, but you can't afford to live, that's not fair.
Yeah. If you're stuck in Japan doing mangas and anime and you're not, you're barely getting living.
Yeah.
You're living at a poor standard and you have no rights to your work.
Yeah, that's abusive.
It is, and that's what's happening in Japan right now.
But and this is not me advocating for it. If it's anything, it's me, rallying against the history of it. That's been the history of artists.
Yeah.
The term starving artist isn't there for no reason.
Well, yeah, and because who makes the most money in a book deal?
Not the writer.
It's the publisher.
It's the publisher. Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to come back and we're going to be talking about the other
sensory considerations.
Sensory considerations.
The catch-all.
Yeah, all the other things that we have to consider in,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go into that in more depth when we come back.
Yeah. So after these messages, we'll be right back.